Hey everybody, Matty Ice here, and in today's video I'm going to show off one of my strand builds that focuses on generating Threadlings and having them do a bulk of the work by damaging enemies and applying Unravel. This build's great for crowd control and ad clear, however with the ability loop nerfs it isn't quite as good as Starfire for boss DPS. The gameplay loop for this is pretty simple. You want to start by eating your Threadling grenade before an encounter starts to store up those 5 eggs. When the battle begins, quickly throw your grenade and activate your rift in quick succession. The horde of Threadlings will go out, attack the adds, and help generate your grenade and rift energy back, while also unraveling any remaining adds. You should also have generated a tangle through this initial unloading, and you'll want to either shoot this tangle or throw it to spawn more Threadlings. If there are any adds remaining, you want to finish them to spawn more Threadlings and also get your armor charge for the next cycle. I'll cover this in more detail when I talk about the mods. In future cycles, you will likely get your grenade back faster than your rift, so if and when this happens, if you're still in combat, just throw your Threadling grenade rather than consuming it. This is due to the way that Threadlings act as your grenade. If you choose to consume the grenade and get the 5 perchings, then you're no longer considered grenades by the game, but if you just throw it and spawn the 3 from your actual grenade, for the purposes of bolstering detonation, this will apply and help generate your rift energy. So keep repeating this for as long as it takes, and then consume your grenade to set up for the next wave or next encounter. I also highly recommend using a gun with Demolitionist to help generate your grenade energy back even faster, but something with Wellspring or one of the Deepstone Crypt weapons will work just as well. So now I want to get into the mods in a little more detail. Alright, getting into the mods, I'm still tweaking these slightly, so please let me know if you have any suggestions or thoughts. The primary mods that make this build work are your choice of Siphon, Bolstering Detonation, Firepower, Grenade Kickstart, Empowered Finish, and Stacks on Stacks. These mods allow you to get 2 armor charge stacks on any orb pickup, or if a finish if you don't have any charges already. Since you'll be finishing a lot of enemies and using your grenade often, this should allow you to maintain 2 to 3 charges for your grenade kickstart to activate, and with Bolstering Detonation recovering your rift energy. So I'm just going to quickly go through all of the mods that I have at the moment. I've got Ashes to Assets over here just to make sure I can get my super back faster. I've got a Harmonic Siphon, but again you can kind of change this to whatever you need. Bolstering Detonation is one of those big ones I mentioned earlier. You've got your Firepower to help generate some orbs off your grenade kills, and Grenade Kickstart to help you get that grenade energy back. Your chests, I've just got one of each resistance on here. You can kind of just play around with that as you see fit, or depending on the encounter you're going into. Stacks on Stacks on the legs, it's a big one, and then just to round it out I got a Recuperation and Inveneration. And then on the Bond, I've got Double Bomber, just that's a standard Warlock one, and then Empowered Finish. Now again, Empowered Finish, you'll be finishing a lot of enemies, pretty key for this one. I actually do want to go over the Seasonal Artifact, because as you know, these are now passive, so this is kind of impactful. First column, it's all just champion mods, do whichever ones you see fit. I do like getting the authorized mods for grenades. This is going to make a lot of the Grenade Kickstart, your Bolstering Detonation, your Ashes to Assets very cheap, so I highly recommend this. It allows you a lot more freedom. I would also consider picking up this multi-siphon mods. This will allow you to have a Void and Strand siphon ability, so you can kind of mix and match. Just a thought there though, you don't have to do that one. But I also do like Volatile Flow. Just you're going to be picking up orbs anyway. This is just a generic all-around one that's good for any of your stuff. There are a lot of good void weapons out there. Definitely grab this one. But for this specific build, I do like Untangler, because you're going to be destroying tangles, and if you do it with a strand weapon, it'll cause that suspension effect on nearby enemies, and it'll just allow you a little bit more crowd control, and it's kind of nice. Allied Unraveling, it's also not a bad one. You get unraveling rounds with strand weapons, so it's kind of nice there, but it's not as key because you'll be unraveling enemies through your Threadlings and through your melee ability. Bricks from Beyond, again this kind of syncs up with the whole Volatile Flow and also the Strand Void Siphon combo. Void weapons, very powerful this season, highly recommend. And then the last column perk that I would definitely recommend is Threaded Blast. Again, if you're using a strand weapon, destroying those tangles, bigger, better explosion. What's bad there? The only downside is it has to be with the strand weapon, so I would definitely recommend either using a strand kinetic and like a void heavy, or avoid energy and a strand heavy. Some kind of combination of the two so you can get the best out of all these perks here. Alright, getting into the aspects, fragments, abilities. You've only got the one super. Definitely recommend healing, revved, and burst glide, but glide of your choice. Only one melee. And then for this one, you're actually going to want the Threadling grenades, but you can also use the grapple grenade. So those are kind of interchangeable here, but I'm going to focus on the Threadling grenade just because of the gameplay I showcased, and this is all about Threadlings. Aspects, you've only got the 2 aspects, but Weaver's Call, you're going to get 3 Threadlings when you cast your Rift. And Mindspun Invocation, your grapple melee and your grapple grenade are going to allow you to spawn Threadlings when you hit the melee. It's very nice. That's why this is kind of interchangeable with that one. But we're going to focus on the consuming your Threadling grenade to generate 5 Threadling eggs. Alright, getting into the fragments here, we've got Thread of Evolution. Those Threadlings are going to go further and deal more damage. You also get a slight buff to your int. This is a big one here, Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates your grenade energy, so you don't need to focus so much on getting your discipline up as high because this is going to allow you to generate your grenade energy back even faster. So it's well worth that 10 penalty. Thread of Warding, this is primarily just for that extra woven mail damage resistance. Since they did nerf resistance in PvE, you want to make sure you can get that back up. And you'll be picking up Orbs of Power all the time, so definitely recommend this one. And then the last one here, Thread of Finality. Finishers create Threadlings. You're going to be finishing enemies to create Threadlings. It's a boost to recovery. What's not to love? But yeah, that is going to wrap up the build here. I do have another one planned that is more focused on crowd control rather than ad clear. And then you could also honestly do this exact same build, but with the grapple melee, and it would work very similar. So keep that in mind. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you'd like to see different or something in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.